Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share a card created with the Charming Day bundle. This bundle will be available to customers on July 1st. As demonstrators, we can pre-order the product. The bundle includes a stamp set with 8 images and a die set with 8 dies. I've created this sampler to show you how it all works. You can stamp these 3 individual stamps, and then there's a die that will cut those out. Plus there's these 5 dies that create these standalone decorative images. And then you have these 5 sentiments in the stamp set. This is so versatile and it coordinates beautifully with the designer series paper that is part of that bundle. The paper is 12 by 12 in size. You get 2 each of these double-sided prints. You've got a beautiful floral design on one side and a coordinating background on the other side. I'm using some of these papers in some upcoming video tutorials, and they are so beautiful, and I think you're going to love them. The video shows you some of the beauty, but in person, it really showcases a beautiful design. And just love the color combinations, and that's front and back. And also for this suite are these beautiful faceted gems, and there's 3 different colors, 2 different sizes of each, 210 altogether, and they're adhesive back. But for this card, I'm just focusing on the bundle. Now I have done a lot of work ahead of time, and I'm going to explain exactly what I've done here. So I have a card base in basic white, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already folded that in half and used my bone folder to crease it. I have a layer that I'm going to put on top of this. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up the subtle background I have here. What I did was I cut this to the size I wanted, and then I put it in this embossing folder. This is the exposed brick embossing folder. Ran it through my die cutting machine, and it texturized that just to give me a beautiful subtle background to my card base. So I'm going to adhere these 2 together. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal and just put the adhesive on the back. And I like looking opposite corners to see both or all 4 sides. In each corner, I can view 2 sides, make sure everything's even, and then burnish that to get the adhesive to bond. Now for my next layers, I have already cut out a basic black and the basic white 2 die images. Now these are in the annual catalog. These are called the Nested Essential Dies. So there's 3 different shapes, 4 dies per shape. I use the largest of this for the basic black, and then I use the second largest for basic white. So I did that work ahead of time. So I'm going to adhere these 2 together. And I always put my adhesive on the smaller 2 images and then layer that on the larger image. Look for equal spacing. In this, you've got all kinds of sides to watch. You want to watch here, you want to watch all to get them as equal as you can. And then this is going to go on here. Now, I am going to add my decoration to this before I adhere it, and the decoration is this die. I thought this was a beautiful die, and you can cut it out of white and color it in. I wanted to just use cardstock, so I cut it out of Granny Apple Green and Real Red. So how I did that work ahead of time is I'm going to show you a little bit more detail about this piece. I have adhesive sheet on the back. I'm going to show you how I did that. Now, I will let you know this is actually 2-tone cardstock that I used, but the 2-tone color is a 12 by 12 lighter weight cardstock that has the original color on one side and a lighter color on the other side. Now I'm saying that because that's what I think it is. I haven't confirmed that. There's 2 tones, a light and a dark, and I'm thinking the dark is the true color. But I might be wrong on that. But in saying that, I'm going to show you this on our Granny Apple Green cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11, cut down to size. So let me talk about this, as I mentioned, and This is adhesive sheet. We sell, Stampin' Up sells the adhesive sheet. They're 6 by 12 in size. I cut them down to the working size. You get 12 of those sheets in a package. And I cut my cardstock the very same dimensions. Now what I like to do is use my Simply Scoring tool for the walls on the edge. Now this adhesive sheet has these backing pieces. So you find the backing and they're in 2-inch strips going the 12-inch side. I peel just one of them off and then that's exposed. I put the non-exposed in up to the corner, in the corner, up to the wall, hold on to it, take my cardstock, put that up against this wall, push it up against the other wall, and then let it fall into place, adhering this piece. Then I can take this and it angled on me a little bit. So let me talk about what happens when it angles a little bit. So I'm going to peel the backings off, whoops, and get that to adhere. So if it angles a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of exposed adhesive. Let me show you that. Can you see that little bit of white here and a little bit of white here? Now, it's not much, but even a little bit will get sticky and tacky on your die cutting plate. So I tend to always want to cut any exposed adhesive off and make sure it's not exposed. So now that you have this, what you can do is take the die, put it on top of here, put it on your platforms. And in this case, let me just bring the platforms in. And here I have the platform. You put that on here and put this on here, run it through, and it's going to cut out your image with adhesive sheet on the back. So now you can take this backing off, just find the end here and peel this off. And like I mentioned, this is a two-tone cardstock. You're going to get the same results whether you use the colored cardstock or the two-tone. And I'm going to take this and place this right on my project and burnish it. You always need to burnish your pieces to get the adhesive to bond. And once you burnish it, it's in place. It's you can pick it up and reposition it before you burnish it. And there we have that. Now we want that to be red. So what I did for my real red cardstock, and I don't have a piece over here. So now let's just pretend that this is the real red cardstock. What I did was I just took my flower and I just put it on here and ran it through because I didn't need the stem and the leaf. I just needed the top part of that. So I did that, and that resulted in getting this. So now I want to cut off what would be green, and just let me grab a different paper snip set. Doesn't have that adhesive on it. I'm going to just cut off what would be considered the green part of the image, the greenery, and there I have the red petal part. Now I don't have adhesive sheet on here because I wanted to give this a little bit of texture. Can you see that there are these images that are cut? So you can bend them up a little bit. So what I wanted to do is get a little bit of dimension here. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat. I'm going to bring in some mini glue dots and my adhesive. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some adhesive across here. That's going to bond everything down. Now I'm going to then take a mini glue dot, take my take your pick tool, and make this into a little ball of glue and put it on one of those petals. Let's see if I can get it it worked for my prototype. There, I just have it on there. When I adhere that, it's going to push that section out. So I'm going to do the same thing. I want to do that 2 times. I just want to make this into a little wad of adhesive and then place that right there. And there we go. So it might be hard, you can't see it down there. I have those 2 there. And where did I put my, oh, here it is. So now I'm going to take this, and my goal is to cover up the green so we can put the red. And then what I'm going to do is push this down. This is where I have a glue wad there. I have another one right there. That's just going to help keep those petals to stay up a little bit. And there we have some added texture. So I just love how those dies work. Now I'm going to take some dimensionals and put those on the back. And this is an option. I love the dimensionals for getting some dimension to your projects. Just keep in mind, if you have too many layers that have dimension, it's going to most likely be over 1/4 inch thick. And when you mail it, it's going to cost you an extra postage to send it. And I think all card makers may have experienced that in the past. So I have my dimensionals on here, and I'm going to offset this a little bit. I'm going to put this a little bit over to the edge. Look for evenness across the top and bottom. And then for the sentiment, I've stamped that ahead of time. I stamped the happy birthday just on a strip. I wanted a little bit of a banner here. So what I did was I used the very same dies, but I took the second to the smallest die, and I put my strip of cardstock over this end, under this end, ran that through, and that just gave a banner stitch to the edge. So that's how I accomplished that. So here, this is going to go across the card. I'm going to have it flush to the card edge, going across here. It's going to be flush here, but it needs dimensionals right here. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring my silicone craft mat in again, put adhesive towards the banner area, and then I'm going to take a dimensional, and I'm going to put 1 dimensional on this end. To guess here where to put it here, that's kind of like just a guess. So I'm going to put my additional dimensional right on the card, right past this element. Remember, this element is already raised with a dimensional. So I'm going to take that adhesive backing off, that adhesive backing off. So I have 1 on this end, adhesive here. So now what I can do, I can put this down flush here, it's covering up that dimensional, and it's going flush across there. And that is my finished card. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. And again, this product will be available July 1st. But I do want to let you know, until June 30th, we do have a wonderful special offered by Stampin' Up. If you purchase any sweet or sweet products that are currently available, and there's many that are available, you buy 1, you get the second one 50% off. Keep in mind, if you have 4 sweet products or items on your order form, if you have 4, the 2 least expensive ones will be the 50% off. So just keep that in mind, because there's many last chance items that are part of sweet items that are already discounted. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, to like my videos and share them. Reach out if you have any questions. Take care and happy creating.